Hey y'all, I'm James Wright and welcome to Black Friday. It is time to start thinking about Christmas presents. And particularly you should be thinking about getting Christmas presents for the woodworker in your life. And if you are the woodworker in your life, then maybe you should send this video to someone who should be getting you presents because you are the woodworker in their life. I just want to go through some of the things that I use on a regular basis, things that would be good extras to the woodworking shop. I'm not going to talk about the main tools because most woodworkers have those. And if you don't have those tools, then I'll leave a link to the basic beginner tool set. That's a great way of going through. These are the tools that really get you up and going. But I want to talk about some of the extras, some of the things that really aren't tools per se, but they make the shop a lot easier to work with. Now, before we actually dive into all these, all of the links of everything I talk about is down below in the description, so you can go down there and see all of them. Some of those are affiliate links, so you do help out with the channel if you click on them. And if you are watching this on mobile, there's a little down arrow beside the title of the video. You can click that and see the description. So let's actually dive in and look at some of these. Now, the first thing on the list are clamps. As my father drilled into me in the wood shop, you can never have enough clamps. Now, whether that be pipe clamps or bar clamps, you can never have enough clamps of any type. And particularly the hand screws, I find a lot of woodworkers don't have these. And they're very useful clamps to have in the shop for just small buildups or holding things when you're working at a tool. It's a very useful general tool, and they come in a bunch of different sizes, and you can never have enough of them. Along that same line, the spring clamp, I use these regularly, and you see I have a whole pile of them up here and a pile of them up here. It's a great tool to have on hand. So clamps, you can never have enough. Next up, when I first got my glue bot, I thought it was kind of a gimmicky thing. I didn't think, it was all that impressive. I mean, you can use an old mustard bottle or anything like that to spread glue. But the nice thing about this is it actually forces up, and so you can glue upwards. So if you're underneath a joint and you need to put glue onto a surface, you can't do that with a regular squeeze bottle. You can do it with a glue bot. And I find myself using these constantly, and I don't use any of my old glue bottles anymore, to the point that I got a second one that I'm about to fill up with a different type of glue. So a great tool to have on hand and relatively cheap. A while ago I purchased this 2P10, it's a super glue kit, and I thought it was kind of gimmicky. I got it so I could do the glue test, and I didn't think I would ever use it again after that. But after the glue test and seeing how strong super glue really is, and this comes with a thin, a gel, a medium, a thick, as well as an activator and other items in here. It's just a really nice kit. Anytime something splinters off in the woodworking, there's a small chip off, I can actually glue that chip back on very quickly and get back to work. So I use this all the time for that kind of work. It's a great thing to have on hand. It would make a fantastic gift. Now this one sounds kind of cheap, but shop rags. I have 3 of these boxes around the shop, and I probably replace all 3 once a year, whether it's putting on finish or cleaning up finish or cleaning up the bench or wiping off tools or whatnot. I use shop rags constantly. And I have some of the blue ones, I have some of the white ones. It doesn't really matter. I like them, and they're quick, they're easy, and I can throw them away when they're done. Unless they have BLO on them, then I lay them out on the floor. But shop rags are a great thing to have. Now, I don't use sandpaper that much, but Klingspor actually sells these boxes of rolled up scraps that they have, and they come in a variety of sandpaper grits, and it's probably somewhere around 100 square feet of sandpaper you get for like 20 bucks. It is dirt cheap, it is a fantastic deal, and it is enough sandpaper, it will last me another 10 to 15 years. So yes, this would be a great gift, relatively cheap, and a fantastic way to say I love you to the woodworker in your life. Next up we have diamonds, and diamonds are a woodworker's best friend, and particularly these little paddle diamonds. They're relatively cheap, and they can come in 3 different grits. So I have the number 1, the number 2, and the number 3. The DMT ones are actually color-coded so you know what they are, but I wrote on the back actually 1, 2, and 3. And these, I use them regularly for getting into sharpening odd things. Anything with a convex shape or my turning tools, I use them quite a bit. And also they have this cone that is, well, it's a cone, and this allows you to get into the concave shapes. So I use these quite a bit, and they're relatively cheap. So it'd be a good gift if you have a woodworker who's constantly trying to sharpen things. Yeah, I like them. So let's say you have an ornery woodworker, and you're trying to get something to tell him you are an ornery woodworker, but you actually want to get him a decent gift. Get him a horse butt. Yes, I mean horse butt. It's a type of leather. This is actually a great leather for stropping. I use it for the last leather for honing on my tools. I have a lot of horse butt around, and I actually bought a rump, a single piece of it a while ago, and I've been cutting them off and gifting them to other people or putting other strops around my shop. I use horse butt constantly, and it is a fantastic leather for woodworking. The simple bench brush is actually a really good gift. I have several of these around the shop, one on each of my benches, and then I have this one from Lee Nielsen that's designed for cleaning off planes. I use them constantly. I probably use them every single day or multiple times a day. This one I actually got from Harbor Freight with a wooden handle, and I like it. It works great, and I use it every day. This is my main brush that goes underneath this bench. So a bench brush is a great thing to have. Even if he already has one, having more of them is nice because for some reason they tend to walk away, and having another one around, well, they're kind of like tape measures. You can never have enough of them. Ye old thumpin' whacker, the mallet. There are 100 mallets that I have, and no matter what, you can never have enough mallets, and you can never have enough types of mallets because every mallet has a specific use. Whether it be the standard jointing mallet or the carving mallet or 1,000 others in between, getting a mallet is a great thing. Now, normally I tell people to make their own mallets, but every now and then it's nice to buy a mallet. In particular, this one is a split face mallet. I'll leave a link to that one down below. This allows you to put in different materials into the head so you can have a softer head with a metal mallet behind it. So that would be a great thing to get for your average woodworker. The marking gauge. Yes, the marking gauge. You can never have enough marking gauges. So even if he has a few already, you can get more marking gauges. It's not uncommon for me to have 4, 5, 6 marking gauges all set up on the bench at different measurements. And so this is a great thing to have, whether it be the wheel guide or the simple pin or the mortising gauge. This is actually one from Harbor Freight that I like. I'll leave a link to these down below, particularly the wheel gauge. Those are the ones that most people like to have. Or it comes in blocks. I use this to make my own finishes, and it's a great thing to have on hand, especially if you're going to be waxing the soles of your plane. Beeswax works phenomenally for that. And there's just something about beeswax as opposed to paraffin wax or other things like that that just makes it feel more homely, a little bit more oily. So having some beeswax on hand is always a good thing to give. Bench dogs. I have 6 pairs of these. Actually, I think I have 8 pairs of these. And I'm regularly using them in the bench. And I like putting multiples of them, allowing you to clamp from different angles. A simple bench dog is actually a great thing to have. And if you don't have them, once you actually try them out, you're like, oh, and then you never go back. So bench dogs would make a great gift, even for someone who already has a pair. A simple carbide rod. This is just a 1/4 inch carbide rod, about 6 inches long. And a lot of people have card scrapers, and they're always sharpening card scrapers. And if you're using a steel or something that's just harder than a card scraper, it works. But once you try a carbide rod, you never go back because this is so much harder than the card scraper steel that it turns a burr very quickly. And so if your woodworker doesn't have a carbide rod, this would be a great gift. Relatively cheap for what you're getting, but they do amazing things for sharpening your card scrapers. Along that line, card scrapers. I have a whole collection of them, and you can never have enough of them. You'll end up with like 20, 30 of these in your shop, and you'll still use each individual one. And you can make them yourself, or you can buy them. I actually sell these on my website, the blue ones that come with the Wood by Wright logo. So you can pick these up and directly help out the channel. Or you could buy them through Amazon and get the kits with all of the interesting shapes. Or Bearcat makes these ones specifically designed for chair makers. I really like this one. And along that line, Bearcat also sells these carbide rod burnishers that are set at a specific angle, making sharpening the angle a little bit easier. And last but not least, you can always buy Wood by Wright swag, t-shirts, as well as the Wood by Wright puzzle you can put together in my shop. And we're actually in the middle of making this puzzle. It's a really fun one because there's so much little detail. You can look up a piece and be like, oh, I know that plane, it goes here. Yeah, I really enjoyed the puzzle, and t-shirts make for a great gift. So if that doesn't give you enough gift ideas, I am going to leave a link to my personal Amazon wish list. And so that might give you some ideas that aren't specifically woodworking related, but they might be other gifts that I'm looking for and your woodworker might be looking for as well. And on top of that, if you have any ideas of gifts you would like to get, please leave them in the comments below. Let's create a large list of gifts and give other people ideas. So if you don't see anything in all of this, go look in the comments below. You'll probably see a bunch of other gift ideas down there. So I hope this has given you a few good ideas, and I'm looking forward to seeing what all the woodworkers are getting for Christmas, as well as what they are making to give for Christmas. It's kind of a cool thing that goes around and comes around. So I'm looking forward to it. Christmas is always a fun time of year. But I think that's about it for today. Looking forward to seeing your comments down below. And until next time, have a wonderful day.